and welcome to Wealthy Money TV. Today's topic is starting an investment portfolio. So we're doing a personal story on how you get started with an investment portfolio as opposed to always bringing on the experts. I think it's so important when we see ordinary people do extraordinary things, especially when it comes to money, because it's something that we keep hidden under the table and we don't talk about it. So to talk to us today is Lerato Mmutle, and my name is Vangile. So welcome, Lerato.
Thank you, Vangile.
Okay, so Lerato, I know after you changed your life and your money story with the rat race,
yes,
you went on to become an avid investor. Now you're quite a savvy investor, so at least what I consider savvy. So what is the one thing you can tell someone who's watching this and feeling like, I don't have enough money, I can't get started?
Okay, well, first thing I would say is that's not true.
Why?
You can save as little as R2. I think that's the misconception about money and investments, is that you need a big amount, because that's actually, you can grow the big amount.
Yes.
There are different investments obviously that need a certain amount. There's a minimum, like 20,000 and those sort of things. But then they also have other options where you can start with just 500 rand a month or less.
Yes.
So you can definitely invest today, invest as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I know you told us in an earlier video you started with as little as 300 rand. Over the years, what did you see that money do?
Yes, I was, in the beginning, I actually had a bit of a situation with the consultant. Two of them left, so I was kind of passed on, and I was very angry because, you know, this is my stuff. So I finally got a very good consultant who ended up doing all the right things, and I would go to them and say, I don't think this is growing. I can save this in 2 months. Why is this been taking 30 years to get there? So,
and how did you get to that point where you could start to see the difference in returns in investments and know that, okay, this could do better?
I would inform myself, read about investments. So
okay.
I was learning as well.
So you made it a point to learn about investments.
Yeah, I educated myself. I mean, not to the full extent, obviously.
Yes.
I wasn't trying to be a stockbroker or anything, but definitely in terms of getting into stocks, understanding risk, understanding that I was young enough to take full risk.
Yes.
Also understanding that, you know, if something has been in there for 6 months and it has a particular percentage of growth, then one should look at another option.
Yes.
So that's also what happened. And also at the time I was saving a lot, so I was investing and saving at the same time, because I was doing a lot of traveling.
Yes.
So I would save, like in 3 months I could save like 15,000, mainly based on how I was living, like the lifestyle I had chosen. I was working, so I would just put it in.
Just out of interest, talk about, could you please just tell us in a snippet the lifestyle that you chose and how it enabled you to be a better investor or saver? Because like one of the things that I often talk about is how my car isn't expensive, so it's easy to maintain. I don't pay car installments. Everything's cash. The only thing I pay is insurance and gas every month. So that enables me to save. I have to trade something to become an investor and start building for my future.
Yes. I'm not a big sort of flashy, materially oriented person. I mean, of course, I want my comforts, and I want to be able to access whatever I need. However, I've always I also drive a second-hand car, which takes me from point A to B and C and back.
Thank you.
So, and I mean, living in Cape Town as well, people don't really care about things like that. And I also learned during that time, coming from, Joburg side, where it's like you have to drive the BMW that takes you to your shack with the dish. And then here you get into the Uno, which takes you to the mansion with the cinema inside. You're like, okay, maybe priorities need to change. So I think I also started learning that it's not necessarily about the outward appearance. So I never invested too much time or money in terms of kind of keeping up appearances. So I basically live as simply as I can. I spend a lot of time in nature, so that's like so great because it's very affordable.
And it's free entertainment. You're not bored in nature.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just, but it's not necessarily a lifestyle change I made. It's just a part of who I am. So I was able to then invest, and also my savings came from the fact that I wanted to travel. I was traveling every single year, 3 countries a year. So I would basically do, I would basically save, and how I did it was I would save first for the ticket. Okay, 4,000-5,000 to India. Okay, great. After I bought the ticket, I would save the spending money. And the spending money I would just put the minimum because I was going like backpacking. So if you have a goal and you're oriented towards that, then you're able to do. So my biggest expense was travel, which was very much worth it.
Well, that's always been my biggest expense. Wow, this is quite incredible. So for someone just looking on right now, what would you leave them with as a snippet of what is the first step they must take to just get started investing?
Okay. I think the first step they must take is to actually understand that they've been investing in themselves. So understand that you're investing in you and your life and the future, the generation that's to come. And also if you have a horizon, like if you know that it's actually going to be something that benefits you in 5 years, then you're able to kind of plant the seeds. So that's it. Then practically as a step, just go to the bank you're affiliated with if you know nothing else. Go to Alan Gray. I would definitely, I'm not punting them, but...
Oh, you just punted them. Oh my goodness. Alan Gray is not paying for this.
They should. And they will, if you show them the video.
They will love it.
But I mean, institutions such as, like Investex, etc. I would go for the more highbrow companies, because sometimes the banks are a little bit more on the what's in it for me side, whereas the investment companies understand more of a long-term relationship kind of investment plan. So, and then as little as 500 Rand a month, 300 Rand even, you just need to know how much you can put aside, and then just put that, and then just do it. You have to do it, because if you don't do it now, then when?
Yes, I agree with that. Lerato, thank you so much for sharing your story, your knowledge so openly. Thank you. Lerato's website is on the screen, and her email is at the bottom of the screen. But you can contact Lerato. She's an amazing writer and performer, and she's in the language and communication space. So feel free to reach out to her. She's an amazing spirit, so I really recommend her for any of her language and communications needs. In the meantime, have a fabulous day, and we'll see you next week on the next episode. Cheers!
Bye.